Now, I'm taking my time right now because I don't want to speak my own words. I want to make sure the Holy Spirit is speaking here. Because what we're about to talk about here is real important. And many times, out of excitement, anger, many times we get ahead of ourselves and we start talking recklessly. So right now I'm slowing it down for a second. Because what you're about to see here in Deuteronomy 28 is you're about to see present day America, present day Africa, in southern, western, and central Africa. You're about to see all of this. Everything that's going on with our people in Central South America, Mexico, and the islands, and especially in America, you're about to see it written in the scriptures thousands of years before that. What you're also about to see is warning that came to our people to say what would happen to us, their ancestors, if they did not adhere to this. So, after the day, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we did the lesson, to whom much is given, much is required. I don't want any more. I want to encourage you and to empower you to no longer look at the white man anymore. Stop focusing on Edom. Okay? Stop focusing on Trump. Stop focusing on the government. Stop focusing on everybody else outside of our community. And start looking at each other. Start looking at ourselves. Let's take this on ourselves because our ancestors in this country did that. When they got off those slave plantations, they got in this Bible and they started building us up. And I know this is difficult for many of you to hear, but civil rights was a distraction. Because we had Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma before civil rights. We had vibrant cities and communities in Harlem, Brooklyn, Baltimore, D.C., Durham, North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, all over this country, Los Angeles, pre-civil rights. But we allowed the enemy to convince us that what we had was not good enough. And so what we did was we left the church and left the Bible and started fighting to go to some restaurants and to some schools. When none of those things brought us to where we were. We didn't have any of that when we got off the PlayStation, but we got off, didn't we? We didn't have any of that when we started building our community. But what we did have was this. We had the Bible. We had love. We had community. And as soon as Edom told us, hey, don't worry about going to North Carolina A&T. We can let you come to Carolina. Because they wanted our football players. They wanted our basketball players. Don't worry about going to Alabama State. Come on down here to Alabama with the Crimson Tide. And now they've made millions of dollars off of our backs. Now imagine if those guys are in our colleges. Imagine what we have. I saw a report from an old baseball player who played in the Negro Leagues, who said that their stadiums used to sell out, and it was nothing but white folks, and they will be in the stadiums kicking racial slurs to the players, but yet you would pay to see them play. What kind of self-hate is that? Because you knew the talent and the greatness is there. So you would come pay to come see them play, but then try to talk down and make them feel like you was better than them. But you were spending your money to come see them play. So what would we have right now in this country if we wouldn't have got caught in the distraction of civil rights? We probably would be gone now. We probably would have got up out of here and left. And so I don't want to say as if I am belittling what our ancestors did in the fight that they were doing, because they were fighting for us. But you have to realize, when you go and research back of every civil rights group, there's a white man face standing right there. And there's a quote from Martin Luther King who says, I fear that I have brought my people from their house to a house that's on fire. That's a quote from Martin Luther King. Because he realized that those Jewish organizations that was giving him money to fight the civil rights, they had played him. Why do you think he ended up dead? Because it's all good when you just preaching. But when you start telling people the truth of the Bible, it's all good when Malcolm X was out there saying the white man was the devil. But as soon as he went and found himself who he really was and got away from the Nation of Islam, started getting in this Bible, and started telling the black people that they were those dry bones, the whole thing was to get you out of this. So what you about to see here in Deuteronomy 28, you about to see a end result, the fruit of our people, our ancestors in the Bible, in Israel, not keeping the law. And you're going to see how we ended up as a result. It's going to be real time of what we're going through in this country. What we're at on time right now. All right, so Deuteronomy 28, let's start at verse 15 now.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So, the Most High gave our ancestors a warning. He said, listen, I sent your parents died in the wilderness, because according to Numbers, the 14th chapter, when they complained and said, in Numbers 13, they came back, the spies came back with the evil report, saying that they couldn't get into the land. Then, when in Numbers 14 they began to complain and talk about going back to Egypt, the Most High said, for every day you spent spying the land, which was 40 days, you're going to spend a year in the wilderness. All the older people died out, and the youth came into the land. In Deuteronomy 28 here in 15, before they crossed that Jordan River, the Most High gave them a warning. Read it for them again.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if you don't listen to the voice, if you don't listen to what I'm telling you through my priests and my prophets,
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day.
If you don't follow law, statutes, and commandments, what's going to happen?
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Okay, so that was the warning. You know the Most High don't lie. He's going to keep his word. So they was warned there. Now, we're not going to go through all these verses. Let's go down to verse. But I do advise you one day to take a look at it. But we're going to hit some key ones here right now. Go down to verse 32.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand.
Verse 33.
The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
Did that not happen to us? Read verse 32 again.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look, and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hand.
Did that not happen to our people in West Africa? When Edom, when the dragon poured up to the coast, and the slave ships? Did that not happen to our people? Did that not happen to our people on the plantations here in America? When a son or a daughter was snatched out of the hands of the mother and father and taken from North Carolina to Missouri, taken from South Carolina, one side of South Carolina to the next. Did that not happen to our people? I mean, this ain't something you can make up here. I mean, this is something that was spoken around 4,000 years before it actually happened. Let's go down to verse 45.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee.
So this is a repeat of that warning that was in verse 15. He didn't just say it one time and then expect them to get it. He said it again. Verse 45. Then he goes in detail again about some more things that would happen to our people. Verse 46.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign, and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Is that not what happened to us, people? When you look at the world, as far as the world is concerned, the so-called black man, the so-called African American man, the so-called Mexican man, the so-called Puerto Rican, the so-called Indian, the so-called Aborigine in Australia, the so-called Jamaican, Haitian, Bohemian, the so-called Nicaraguan, the so-called Brazilian, the so-called Panamanian. All of these people are considered the bottom of the totem pole. It's a sign forever. Is that not what happened to our people? Is that not what is currently happening to our people? But yet you still want to say that you're black. You still want to deny the fact that you're Israel. You still want to be a Baptist. You still want to be a Methodist. You still want to be a Kojic. And you don't want to accept who you are. Verse 47.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things.
Verse 48.
Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has destroyed thee.
Hold on one second. I'm going to make an attempt to pull this up over this to show. I've been telling people to Google these things, and I don't know. I want to show it to them. Look at that. That's the, can you see it? Yeah. That is what you see when you Google in Google yoke of iron. Swipe to the right for them, man. I'm going to give them more images. You see a white face in there? You see a Jewish guy in there? You see it so I can show my YouTube people. You see that? You see a white face in there? Look at that. There's more for you. More. More pictures. Yoke and iron. You see a white face in there? Alright? So he said that in Deuteronomy 28, around 4,000 years before it actually happened. What would happen to our people? Still don't believe that you're Israelite? You still don't believe that you're the chosen people of the Bible? You need some more evidence? Verse 49.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Did that not what happened to us? Did we speak Dutch? Did we speak Spanish? Did we speak English? Did we speak French? And those were the nations that came to West Africa. Those were the nations that sold up on the coast of America. Those were the nations that sold up on the coast of Central and South America. And did any of our people speak those languages? And they have the audacity now to call our brothers down there, our Asher brothers, our Zebulun brothers, Latin America, Latinos, when none of them speak Latin. They want to call our Mexican brothers and our people of Central America, they want to call them Hispanics. Did our Haitian brothers speak French when they was in Africa? Did we speak English when we was in Africa? Read it for them again.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
And that eagle. I want you to look up all the nations that was in Rome and find out that they don't their flag and their emerald has eagle in it. I think I got that somewhere. Let me see if I can find that for you. I just wanted you to see this, so people don't think that we making this stuff up. I think I got all these nations listed out here, and I want to make sure you get them. Check this out. Luxembourg, Denmark, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Sweden, France, Spain, Great Britain, and Switzerland. All of those nations made up Rome. What Rome was today. What Rome was then. And I guarantee you Google each one of them and you will see an eagle in their emblem. Now, let's get a precept on that right quick. Let's go to Revelation 12. I got to give them this precept on that because you think that we're making this up. That we're just adding our own opinion in. And I need them to see that this is not made up. This is all prophesied in the Bible. This is why they don't want you to get into the prophecies. That's why they don't want you to go into the Old Testament. Because if you go in that Old Testament, you're going to see yourself in it. Revelation 12. Verse 13.
And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
What the nation that brought forth the man-child? Israel. Who is the male child? Christ. What nation in this world, what people, what culture, what nationality, what race is forever being persecuted? Us. Verse 14.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nurtured for a time, and times, and a half a time, from the face of the serpent.
This is what happened in 70 AD. When Christ told us in Luke the 21st chapter that when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, get out. Our people fled to northern and western Africa, into parts of the Middle East, in Yemen, down in Saudi Arabia and Jordan, and also into certain areas in Rome. This is what happened. Verse 15.
And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as the flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away from the flood. So
from the time of 70 AD all the way up until the 13th and 14th century and 15th century, the dragon put out lies, starting in 325 at the Council of Nicaea, when they formed the religion of Christianity. Nobody in the Bible was following Christianity. Nobody. We wasn't following Christianity. We wasn't celebrating Christmas. We wasn't celebrating Easter. We wasn't celebrating Thanksgiving. We wasn't celebrating any of these pagan holidays. None of them. So that was the first lie. He also told us in Luke the 21st chapter that many shall come in my name and say they are Christ. Be not deceived, i.e. the Catholic Church. Catholic Church came with their own doctrine, with their own lies, with their own interpretations, and spread lies throughout the world against the woman while the woman was hiding. Next thing, they put Caesar Borgia up as Jesus and told everybody that the white man was Christ. When everybody in the Bible knew that according to Revelation, the 1st chapter, verse 14, that he had hair like wolves and feet like brass burnt in the stove, in the fire. But instead, they told lies and they put up a white man and said that was Jesus. Then came the 13th century, the 14th century, where the cause of Russia, who were Jewish, who were converts and proselytes to the Israelites, began to say that they were the people. They were the chosen people. and made a claim to what we have and who we are, and they don't have the blood of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in their blood. And they convinced the world that they were the people. Lies. Because there was no way you were going to believe that they were the people if you didn't have a Jesus that looked at white. So instead of telling you who Jesus truly was, they had to come up with a fake Jesus. Lies. Lies. But what happened in verse 15? Verse 16.
And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened up her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
What happened was, our records began to be found. The book of Enoch, the book of Jasher. We begin to discover the Apocrypha, and we realize that everything that they did was already written. We begin to break down the Old Testament in the Hebrew, outside of these other versions that they have up here of the Bible. And the earth helped us out. That way we can understand exactly who we were. The nation of Israel, from the tribe of Judah. Verse 17.
And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ.
Why do you think that we are on a constant attack all the time? Why do you think in this country our churches were burnt to the ground? Different pastors and preachers that have stood up for the cause and were telling our people that we must follow the truth of the Bible. Why were they all assassinated? You think that happened in Charleston was just a random act of terrorism? Don't believe the hype. These things are happening as a result to get you off of the Bible so you can give up on God because you think that we are forgotten people. But today's lesson is he has not forgotten his people, but he has forgotten our sins. And we got to understand what was the result of our sins. So let's go back to Deuteronomy 28. I had to give you that precept so you can understand that it was everything confirms itself in the Bible. Everything. Where we at now? Read verse 49 again.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
All right, verse 50.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Did they do that? See how the way they treat our old people? You see the way they did our people in Africa? You see the way they do the young? They allow people to shoot the people down in the streets, no repercussions. They didn't care. They don't care. The way our grandmothers and grandfathers had to work 14, 15 hours, 16-hour days for nothing. Verse 51.
And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kine or flock of the sheep, until thou have destroyed thee.
Is this not what happened to our people in Africa? What is not what's going on right now? They took all the gold, they took all the diamonds, they took all the land, and they put a Bible in their hand. Here go a Bible. Here go an NIV Bible for you. Let me get your land, let me get your diamonds, let me get your resources, let me get your rubber trees, let me get your oil, let me take that. It is not what happened to our so-called Indian brothers. They came to America, they took the land, they took the buffalo, they took the crops, they took the trees, they took everything that the Most High gave the Gadites and took it. Everything. Did that not what happened? Is that not what happening to our people right now? Where they take the talent of the black man, they take the strength of the black woman, and they get paid off of it. NFL, NBA, boxing, college football, college sports, all funded off of our backs. And then on the flip side, you got the community with the drug dealers and the drug lords and the gangs, the illegal money. Where do you think all that money is coming from? Where do you think all that's going to? Ain't coming back to the community. going to their pockets. Find it funny how as soon as America went into Afghanistan and took over Afghanistan, how there's a heroin epidemic in America. Great timing, huh? And who is dying? Us. Who going to jail? Us. Who getting money? Them. Read verse 51 again.
And he shall eat of thy fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land, and so thou be destroyed. Which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
And that's not what he did to our people. Look at down there in Australia. What he did with our Reubenites, the so-called Aborigines. Took their land, shooting them down, called them savages. Took everything from them. Got them standing in the mountains in the desert area, dry, no water, no nothing. Ran them off their land. Look at what they did to the so-called Naphtali. The Naphtali, the so-called Hawaiians and the Samoans and the people of the Fiji Islands. Yeah, they show you the beautiful results and all that. But when you look at the regular Hawaiians, they're poor, impoverished people. They don't show you that part of Hawaii. They never show you that part of Jamaica. They never show you that part of Trinidad and Dominican Republic. They just show you the great results where all the people, Edom is getting money off our people. They show you Cancun in Mexico, but they don't show you the places where our Issachar brothers are suffering. Why they getting money off our backs. They'll bring this football player out, and he'll get his sob story, this great story about how he grew up poor, and how he got drafted, and then pluck your ear screens, and you look at your son, and you look at your nephew. Man, that's going to be you one day. And you basically, we telling all our sons and all our nephews, go make them some money. All these high school coaches getting all this money, college coaches. How can you literally look at me in my face and tell me we're gonna pay Nick Saban $7 million a year, but you can't get nothing? Deuteronomy 28, verse 51. Let's go down to verse 64.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Wood and stone. Wood. The cross. Never told us to do that, but that's what you see. Everybody walking around with a cross on their neck. Every church has a cross outside of it. He said he was going to do that then. Christ hadn't even been crucified. Christ wasn't even born in the world yet, but he said that here. Stone, the Kabbalah stone of Islam. There wasn't no such thing as Muhammad then, but he said that here. And is that what our people are doing? Following Louis Farrakhan? And they don't even know that the Nation of Islam was started by a white man. You don't even know that. But you see, all you think about is Louis Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad. Don't even realize they were started by a white man. All these black folks around here talking about the Jehovah's Witnesses don't even know they were started by a Jewish white man. Do your research before you get into something. But then the Bible, they'll tell you it's a white man's book when it's really a black man's book. And everything that they tell you that is a black man's book is started by white people, but the one thing that is black, they tell you is white. Wake up. Wake up. The one thing that is ours, they've convinced the people to say this is a white man's book. The thing that's not ours, they tell you it's yours, but it's a white man's book. It's time to wake up. Verse 65.
And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
Is that not what's going on? Is that not what's going on in this country? You can't feel safe. You can't even go to the store and go to a convenience store. You can't even go out to a good dinner without somebody acting crazy. You get stopped because your tail light out, and you might end up with a bullet in your head, and nothing would happen. And it's amazing to me how Me and my dad was watching the news the other day, and this guy, I'm not saying that I agree with it, but this guy took a cat and kicked it off a cliff, right? And the people at the news station were like, listen, okay, this video that we're about to show you is very, very graphic. It's very, very disturbing. So you might want to get your kids and you might not want to watch this. Viewer discretion is advised. But they'll show a black man getting shot, and they will never give that disclaimer. They'll show it over and over and over and over and over and over. Because that's nothing to them. They could care less about us. That little cat getting kicked off, some guys went and got some little baby alligators and pouring beer down them. They were like, oh my God, this is very disturbing. But they'll show my man's getting shot running from a traffic stop. They'll show my man's getting shot in the head, shot and killed right there with his baby mama, with his girl and his baby in the back seat. And they'll show you that over and over. No problem with that. They value our animal more than they value us. And it's not because it's your skin. It's because it's your blood. Because they know you belong to the Most High. Verse 66.
And